Every day he wears the same outfit with honor and pride. Camouflage pants, dark green shirt tucked in, brown belt, brown boots with the pants tucked and strapped in, camouflage coat, and, for when he's outside, a camouflage cap with his rank as visible as the one on his coat. Though my father has worked for the government since I was born, I never liked his work clothes because they symbolize that he belongs to the country, not just to me. But I never thought that I would miss seeing that outfit in its rightful spot in the closet. To you, he may just be another uniform, but to me, he is everything. I've always identified strongly with my father, so you can imagine how hard it was to live an entire year without him while growing up. You would think that one deployment would be sufficient enough, but receiving the news that your hero had to serve for a second term is like having an elephant sit on top of you. When we have family meetings, it is usually to discuss bad news such as family budget cuts, family deaths, or vacation cancellations. So when my parents sat my brother and I down for another family meeting, I knew it couldn't be good. I never expected to hear that my dad had been called to Iraq to serve his country. I knew it was childish for me, but I was so full of conflicting emotions that I couldn't help but yell at my father. You promised you wouldn't leave again. You swore they wouldn't do it again. You promised. I knew that I had hurt my dad by sending blame his way, but from the moment that the words came out of his mouth until well after he had returned from his mission, I was in a typhoon of foreign emotions and feelings without a life vest. Eventually we had to say our goodbyes. They were packing up a bunch of soldiers into a charter bus before the sun had rose. It was cold, foggy, and the air hung heavy with obligation. Even though we weren't saying goodbye forever, I still couldn't bring myself to actually say the words. It was hard enough to breathe, let alone communicate. All I could manage to say for the entire experience was, "I love you, Daddy." As he boarded the bus, I could feel my lungs closing. Every breath was a struggle. It felt like my lungs had been filled with tar, and I had to breathe through a straw. The bus began to pull away, and as my dad waved from his window, the skies reacted the same way I did, and water began to fall. I felt like Eminem on the car ride home as I stared out of the window with my music blasting in my ears, while the rain and tears never seemed to end. Our family was built as a four-legged table. Then all of a sudden our fourth leg was snapped off by the government, and our table had to find a way to balance without it. Every day presented a different obstacle. I had always excelled in school, but I had lost absolutely all academic motivation. How was I supposed to go to school if simply getting out of bed in the morning was a struggle? Yet somehow I made it to school almost every day after my morning ritual of getting sick multiple times. You can imagine how my grades suffered if getting to school was a battle in itself. My homework rarely ever got done, and I never studied. To this day, I don't know how I managed to pass sophomore year with A's and B's and only one D. I ended up receding into my social life. Nothing was more important to me than going out with people. I put myself in unhealthy and dangerous situations regularly. I spent nearly all of my time with people who didn't really care about me. The less time I had to spend at home, the less pain I felt. There was a whole different level of dysfunctioning happening at home. First of all, the atmosphere was constantly negative. I often felt like a stranger in my own home. My mother and brother are just as similar to each other as my father and I are. They became very codependent, which I have never blamed them for, though it hurt me to no end. My mom and brother never meant to make me feel unwelcome, but that is exactly how I felt. Whenever we all were home, they would be sitting together on the couch in the front room while I was by myself in the lack of family room. Since Mom was so wrapped up in Chris's unstable emotional state, I felt obligated to take care of myself so as to prevent yet another burden on her. On the outside, I seemed to be coping with the situation the best of the three of us, but on the inside, my world was ending. I had never experienced the deep, never-ending trench of depression before. It affects your entire life. My eating habits, my sleeping habits, my dreams, my self-worth, everything had shifted. I was so hurt that my brother had Mom to help him, but my hero was off doing his duty. I was angry at everything and everybody for no reason. I was confused because I had never been constantly sad for months on end, and I had no idea how to deal with all the emotions I had. Every day, I woke up and felt nothing. I went to school and felt nothing. I spent time with family and friends and felt nothing. I went to sleep and felt nothing. I began to abuse different substances just to feel something, anything. Self-mutilation became a hobby. I never realized how deep mental and emotional wounds could be or how they could affect your everything. Our family has never fully recovered from that year. For myself, I am guilty of many wrongdoings during that year. I lashed out at my family members out of resentment and hurt. I made an already difficult situation even more difficult on my loved ones. To this day, I am still struggling with the addictions I developed that year. Now I am medicated for depression, which was never an issue before he left. I still hate that uniform that he wears to work every day. I hate the colors. I hate those stupid boots and that dumb hat. After that family meeting, the everyday struggles, and the after effects on our psyches, I learned that he wasn't just my everything, but he was our everything. I love my family, and I know we are stronger and closer because of it. I know I could have handled everything in a healthier manner, but I do not regret any of it because I am stronger now because of it. Not all families go through deployments the way we did. Some have it much worse. No one should learn how to live without their other table leg. In conclusion, I hope that people will be more mindful when they refer to our troops and their families because it's a completely different lifestyle.